Josh, pleasure to have you on the See You on the Court podcast. How's your weekend been going?
Hey, not too bad, man. We had that first Indy Heat showcase this
How
weekend.
was it? I was pissed. I missed it. How was
It
it?
was it was actually an awesome experience. Jamal and Todd and the guys did a really good job putting it on this weekend. I think they had 40 guys there,
That's awesome.
a lot of talent in the gym. So it was fun to be there, man. It was a good energy in the gym, well run, and I think the guys got a lot out of it, which is all you can ask for in your first ever showcase.
What's your thoughts behind like AAU and grassroots? Like what you've seen because of COVID. Did you think we were going to have an AAU season?
To be honest, no, I didn't think we'd have anything at all. It was one of those things where because I work in education and obviously at higher education in India Tech, which I know we'll talk about later, but I didn't think we'd have it. While you're
Yeah.
sitting there and you get your call that all of a sudden you're not going to have classes for anything anymore, and you're not teaching, and your kids aren't going to class. It's just weird. Kids get
Right.
shut off from campus immediately, so you're kind of sitting there going, what's going on, and then you started to kind of see that light, like, okay, we maybe are going to have a little bit of a grassroots season here. And then you
Right.
start hearing the rumblings. And then, honestly, it was pretty special. And that's the fact that we got to have anything at all and always in our facility, in our gym in Fort Wayne, made it pretty nice.
I thought it was cool. And what's your thoughts about like around like gym rats? We've been pretty active on social media because I think that's the best thing to keep our program alive due to COVID. Like, what's your thoughts behind like gym rats just upgrading everything with their social media?
I think it's huge. I think that in today's day and age, you see it from recruiting at the college level. I mean, you see it in all of the big time programs for collegiately and the NBA, everything are amping up their social media presence. People want to see their highlights. They want to see the, media posts of them dunking
Right.
or their finishes, and they want to see all that content. And I think that we have so much talent in our program that we would be doing ourselves a disservice if we didn't have content out there showing these guys off of how good they are.
You help me out so much when you on Twitter when a kid gets a scholarship because they don't understand like Gym Rats is a big program. We just don't have 17U. We have 16U, 15U, and 14U, and so on. So when a kid gets a scholarship, I be like, okay, let's repost him because of Josh was like, shout out to so and so. So I appreciate it, man, because you keep track with a lot of guys. And I meant to ask you, like, when you first came in the program, was it hard for you to like know everyone's name in the Gym Rats program?
It was a little challenging at first. That's something that it's kind of a funny thing. I've always kind of prided myself in
Uh,
trying to know people's names and
Right,
I'm one of those people that tries to memorize different things.
right,
When I first got into coaching, I would get on all of those like recruiting lists. And I
right.
would start reading names and trying to see which guys in my area as a high school coach were going to be the best kids, and
Gotcha.
then when we got involved with Gym Rats, you're seeing 100 kids at workouts and tryouts, and we have kids throughout the whole program. And I just kind of took pride in trying to get to know those different faces and names, because you know how it is. Sometimes you
Right.
show up and guy goes, "Hey, what's up, coach?" And they don't
Yeah.
even know who you
I
are.
ask all the time. I don't know if you notice. I'll be like, Josh, who is that? He was like, oh, he's Indy Heat Red or Indy Heat Black, or he plays on the Gym Rats team. I'm like, man, you're right on because I have to like make notes now. Like for this upcoming season, I've been jotting down the names who may play on the EYBL teams.
Yeah.
So now when I do go to the gym, I know who to look forward to.
Yep.
How did you get involved with Gym Rats? For a lot of people that's wondering.
They actually, so my first year out, I played at Taylor University,
Nice,
in high school in the Crossroads League, and I wanted to coach. I knew that, and so I got involved down at Jay County High School.
nice.
From there, went to East Noble High School, and actually reconnected with a good friend of mine named Cody Henson, who is now the director and head coach of Elevation Prep here in Fort Wayne.
Oh, cool. We
Him
play
and I,
them, by the way,
oh, you play them?
in the showcase, Summit City
Okay,
Showcase.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yep. And so he's doing a really good job with the Elevation Prep here in Fort Wayne. They're bringing in talent. And so when he was doing it, we both were young coaches, just started out, and we were former AAU teammates back when we
nice.
were eighth,
What
ninth.
AU team did you play with?
We played for a team out of the Elkhart area called Tiffany's.
Nice. Okay.
And so Cody had been connected because he was good friends with Brian Rogers, and Brian was one of his mentors through high school. And Brian and myself had known each other through high school.
The B
Cody,
Rogers?
yeah,
I was with B Rogers today at the Pangos camp.
Yep.
Okay.
And Brian knows everybody in the state.
Right.
But yeah, so Cody was coaching an 8th grade team at the time, and we reconnected, and he asked me to be his assistant on the 8th grade team. Well, that first year, there was the first year of jump starting our red program as well. I'd gone through and we had done a couple 8th grade tournaments, which starts prior to the high school season. Well,
Right.
I'd have been approached by Todd and Jared Boff, Todd Hensley and Jared Boff, about pursuing a 16 red opportunity,
Right.
if I had any interest. So that summer, I took over our 16 red team. Had a great summer, had a blast, traveled all through the Midwest and competed at a high level for our first year on the red side.
Right.
And since then, I've just been involved ever since that first year, about 5 years ago.
That's awesome. What was it like to land your first coaching job?
It was amazing. It was exciting, but it's not as glamorous as everybody always thinks it is. My
Right.
first coaching job at the high school level, I was a volunteer.
Okay.
Didn't get paid $1,
Right.
and I was living, in an apartment with some friends from college that were former teammates,
There you go.
and so you're just grinding to try to get involved. And then, I got hired at East Noble as a varsity assistant and loved it. And then when I landed my first college coaching opportunity, it was almost surreal because it was one of those things you're thinking. I remember playing and I remember putting my college coaches on a pedestal, like, wow, those guys are so intelligent. They're so smart, that kind of thing about your coaching staff.
Right.
And then when I was sitting there thinking, man, I'm one of those guys on the other side who
On the business side. I think I like the business side more than playing because of stability. You know what I mean? Like players come and go. Everybody knows that if you're on the business side, you always got to do what's best for the team.
Yep.
And now you see the personnel on the coaches side on how coaches think. And I've come to realize that it's hard to get 4 people to agree on what you're saying. Sometimes everybody going to have disagreements when we watch film and whatnot. What do you think are some challenges coaches go through on a day-to-day basis now?
I think that what you just mentioned is one of the hardest things to do. Is you're taking a group of people, and you're taking a group of people from anywhere of 10 players to 15 players, depending on what team you're coaching, not to mention your entire staff.
Right.
And you have to try to get a vision and a goal and get them to buy in and believe it. And everybody has different agendas. Everybody has different beliefs. And so you have to get everybody going in the same direction. I think that's one of the hardest things to do because each of your players and each of your coaches are being pulled in so many different directions by so many different people, that to get them streamlined and getting to go, hey, this is how we're trying to move forward. It's a challenge. I think the other thing is, in the social media piece of it is a challenge for coaches, because you want to be active and you want to be involved, but you have kids that sometimes are seeking out highlight plays, or they're seeking out ways that they're going to get the clicks or the likes or the retweets or the Instagram post. And I think that, getting people to buy into just playing hard and doing the little things is a challenge you face every day rather than pursuing just the highlights and explosive plays.
No question. Now, who are some of the coaches you look up to for like influence and guidance when you're trying to coach?
I think that the biggest thing is I have some really great mentors in my life in terms of the coaching side and the business side. Coach Teagle, who is the Huntington North head coach, is a great friend of mine and has been a mentor all the way through. Coach Platt, who I worked with at Huntington University, is a guy who his father was one of the winningest coaches in Indiana, was a super successful coach. So staying in contact with the Platt family. And then now with my peers and colleagues at Indiana Tech, we had a lot of people to lean on. And then also we have some people who've been around the block in our Gym Rats program who I rely heavily on bouncing ideas. Mark Burks and Jared Quarles and
shout out to those
one of my best friends in the world, Byron Pickens. We bounce ideas off each other like crazy, make each other better. Now, I'm a big reader. So I like to read from coaches that are better than me. Mm-hmm. I like to learn from people who have won because there's a reason they've won. So one of my favorites to read through his stuff, obviously Coach K is a great one.
Mine's Calipari. That's my favorite player. Yeah.
Calipari and the Player's First book that he wrote is just amazing, different approach to putting how he truthfully does put his players first. And it's
no question. I love the part when he talked about Marcus Teague and how Marcus Teague finally bought in around winter time.
Yeah.
And he came to his office and say Marcus came to his office and was like, Coach, I want to buy in. UK fans bleed basketball and they know when players aren't doing what they're supposed to do.
Yep. Yeah,
So
UK it's a tough job because those people in the state of Kentucky, some people would rather buy a TV and cable back in the day to watch Kentucky basketball than have running water in their homes.
it's insane. When I was at Morehead State, and I'll go down in Lexington, and just the energy. Oh, do you play for UK? I'm like, no, I don't play for UK. I play for Morehead State. Then they're like, oh, I'm sorry. Have a good day. But they love their UK players, bro. It's really insane. And speaking of like schools, like what was it like when you landed the position at Indiana Tech as an assistant coach?
Amazing opportunity. During a COVID year, it's stressful. Being a free agent coach, we'll put that in quotes. Free agent coach was a stressful time during
Yeah.
COVID because administrations were on hiring freezes. Schools were looking at their enrollment numbers and their finance and where they're going to be all throughout the country. So it was stressful during that process, probably more stressful my wife than myself, because she was in limbo trying to figure out where we're going to be living and what we're going to do. But when Coach Albert called and offered me the opportunity, just felt super blessed. And I know that we have an amazing group of guys, talented roster. So it was a chance to learn from somebody who's won and hopefully have a successful upcoming season as well.
Man, we were happy for you. Like I said, when I saw that you made it official at Tech, I'm like, that's big time, because now you're steady climbing a ladder, and we have the resources to be successful. And I'm like, man, Josh, sky's the limit for you. Josh, I want you to talk about the media side of things too. You've helped me a lot on our social media for Gym Rats in regards of flyers. Like, how did you get started with doing flyers and just your tech side?
It's funny. That was a hobby of mine back when I was a high school kid.
Really?
Doing Windows Movie Maker and all that stuff. And one of my hobbies is I used to sit down in my basement and I would make like highlights of different players just that I like. So I'd make them of John Wall and LeBron James. And
So you was doing back then, what kids are doing now.
Yeah.
You was doing that back then. Okay.
And I loved it. And I would get on YouTube and I would find all the clips of players and I'd try to put them in and put good music to it.
Right.
And I really enjoyed it. And then I stayed doing that, just, messing with things through college. And a lot of my projects I would make would be video based or, some kind of visual, because I enjoyed that part. And then when you get out, I just decided, this is something that can help in the world of basketball. It's a skill and an asset to some program.
For sure.
Some of these skills. So, just started working on different things with the Photoshop and the video editing services and, working on my phone to try to make sure even if I'm on the go, I can still edit and get content if I need it out there. And then use everything just kind of, I'm nowhere near a pro. I'm not, but you get better every day at it as you get more accustomed to doing it.
That's awesome. What advice would you give some kids now who are seniors looking, forward to playing at the collegiate level? Like, what advice would you give them during COVID and a time like this from a coach's advice?
I think the biggest thing is be open to any opportunity that presents itself. Because truthfully, the person or school that pursues you the hardest is probably the one that wants you the most. And they're going to take the best care of you through your college experience. You as a player know that. I know that as a player. I picked the school that recruited me the hardest, because I wanted to go there and feel valued. And I think that there's a lot of people that sometimes can get caught up in other elements of recruiting, like the facility or, what do the jerseys or the gear look like? Was it D1, D2, NAI? What level is it? And end of the day, it's about who you're going to war with on the court,
No question.
the players and the relationships you build that you're going to remember. You're not going to remember what your locker looked like.
No.
Your jersey looked this good. You're going to remember those people you did it with. So I think be open to any opportunity, know your pros and cons, and then be active. Be active in your recruitment with the new NCAA eligibility rules changing.
Like people get another year guaranteed, right?
Another guaranteed year for all NCAA winter sport athletes.
Does that sucks for like the 2021 class?
I think that it'll be something that heavily affects 21 and 22 because guys will be staying there and they've passed the one-time exemption transfer rule. So already 1,000 transfers every year from Division I schools in the portal.
Right.
Now you're going to see that number increase, and so really it just makes that much more talent to oversaturate the market of spots there are. There's more talent than there is spots and opportunities at that level.
And speaking of like class 21 and 22, where do you see the future of like grassroots basketball and like AAU? Do you see it continues like to rise and continue to have these premier showcases like the EYBL? And I think other programs may adopt what we had like Battle of the Brands.
Yeah, I think that one day showcases are going to be a major thing going forward. I just see those one day events being something that continues to be a hot commodity for travel purposes, financial purposes of programs, and trying to put together opportunities where you're playing high level teams. So you don't have those 20, 25, 30 point blowout games as often. You know, you're getting high level guys on the court competing with each other, and that's what people want to see, and that's what college coaches want to see is matchups and how people perform against other guys in their position that are college athletes.
Josh, appreciate you coming on a podcast, bro. It's been some time, and I can't wait to get this out this week.
Hey, I appreciate you, man. Keep doing everything you're doing for the program, and keep
Hey,
growing your own platform as well.
right on. Hey, I appreciate you, brother. Hey, you've been watching Football Sunday, by the way? The Bears
I,
won today.
the Lions,
Yeah.
the
Hey,
Lions found a win.
it's 38-10. Tampa Bay is beating Green Bay right now. So I'm watching that right now, getting ready to relax. So I appreciate it again, bro.
I appreciate you.